Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Kalen Moss, the Minute Admin, with Emerald Hendry here. And I'm going to be asking Emerald some questions. She is a marketing cloud guru, whether she thinks it or not. And I am just going to let Emerald take over. First thing I kind of want to have you do, Emerald, is just give the people your current job role and some of the current experience you have. And if you want to throw in a little bit about yourself, go right ahead.
I think I just got a notification that we're live. Interesting.
Oh, nice. You should watch it so we get that one view.
Yeah, right. Okay, so like I said, my name's Emerald Hendry. So my background experience, basically, I was a high school English teacher for 5 years, and I always kind of had an interest and like a natural knack for digital marketing. So I did a little bit of that just for myself. I did some photo, like a little photo business, and I started it from marketing on Facebook. So then after that, I really kind of like went into the digital marketing roles with different companies around me in Springfield, Missouri. And so then worked with like all kinds of email software, just a lot of them. At a previous position, I moved them from Marketing Cloud to HubSpot. And so that was my first kind of taste of Marketing Cloud. And then at my current role, I work for a small consulting agency out of Chicago is where they're based. And yeah, I'm their Marketing Cloud consultant. So that's how I got my feet wet.
Nice. Well, that actually leads us into the first question, which is just telling us your journey. So it sounds like you had been in the digital marketing world for a little while, and then Marketing Cloud was just kind of the next tool that came into your horizons, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like when I first got started, I was like, oh, it's just another marketing platform. It's not going to be that hard to pick up. I'll learn it as I go. And I realized that tragically I was underestimating the amount of learning and studying and just all the various aspects of Marketing Cloud because it is massive. So I think that's how I got started.
So that actually is a great segue to this. So there's a lot in Marketing Cloud, and anyone who's played around or even just been in the system for a second realizes that. What sparked your interest to just continue moving forward? Why did you continue with Marketing Cloud?
Well, basically because I started learning all the various studios and builders, and I was like, this is so powerful. And it really is like, it made a lot of sense to me because from like a consumer aspect of being a customer with various places, and then I'd get the targeted ads or I'd get the specific emails. And like, I really like understanding how that all gets put together. And really, like, you can be an expert in parts of Marketing Cloud and not all of it. So I like the variety that I got.
Nice. Yeah. And Marketing Cloud is so big, you really can get your taste of every single channel if you're interested in that.
Yeah. And I've like, gravitated towards certain ones that are like more up my alley and stuff like that. So yeah.
For sure. For sure. So really quick question. Which ones would you say are the ones that you really like the most? Which marketing channels?
Like the builders and studios in Marketing Cloud. Is that what you mean? Yeah. So Journey Builder, obviously, that's pretty awesome. I really like Mobile Studio. I know that it's still developing. I see that there's new things in there often, and then how it ties into the CRM with Experience Cloud and how you can send push notifications from your app and everything. And I've always just been like, I really like mobile, like marketing, like text message marketing, all of that. And then recently I've been getting like pretty good with Automation Studio, running some SQL, and learning how everything gets put together.
Oh, that is a very good point you bring up about Mobile Studio developing. Speaking of that, what current trends do you see emerging in Marketing Cloud? Is it mobile messages? What are you seeing as far as trends, upward trends go?
So definitely leveraging Mobile Studio more, just because I think, well, it's not just me that thinks it. I think this is true that text messages are much faster to reach your person and like be read than emails. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's one. And then like all the new Einstein and AI development, data cloud. I think once we get really into data cloud, that is going to be amazing for segmentation and making sure that you're getting your like message to the right person at the right time.
Definitely. No, that's so true. So some trends, I think everybody has seen it, AI for sure. How do you think these trends are going to shape the way we even look at digital marketing?
Well, I think we all collectively have to make sure that we are being upfront about what data we're collecting and
Mhm.
making sure that people know that we're using this to better your experience on how we're marketing to you. So I think that that's definitely going to shape it for sure.
Definitely letting people know that the company, as a company, you have more integrity than someone
Hmm.
who's willing to sell your data. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
for sure.
sure.
And like making sure that they know like we want to collect this information from you, and then this is how it's going to help us make sure that we message you the way you want to be. So it's
Exactly.
really like putting the power in their hands for
Yes.
where we're using.
Yep. And I think people are more receptive to that because they understand now, or they're starting to understand what a good customer experience is
Mhm.
versus a company that doesn't really care.
Yeah,
So,
like you don't want to send the same message to every single person. That's just not that doesn't make them feel like you know them.
exactly. So, speaking of that, companies do struggle with that. What are some of the biggest challenges that you're seeing businesses face when they're implementing Marketing Cloud?
So, in my experience that I've had, I think that sometimes they do not understand the amount of people that need to be trained and how long that training might take. So then they can really utilize Marketing Cloud to the fullest extent. So I think a lot of times people like I did, like, oh, it's just another email tool, but it's not. So like really getting the understanding out there that like, hey, this might be a little difficult at first, but we're here to help you along the way, and training, making sure everybody gets trained.
Yeah, and can you talk about that a little bit more from your perspective? Like, how have you overcome that challenge of, getting trained up and learning everything? Like, can you walk us through your experience?
So for me personally, I joined all kinds of groups, and I kind of like put my pride to the side and just started asking questions. And I was like, what's the worst that can happen? I ask a dumb question. But then there's other people in the group that maybe didn't want to ask it that because they were embarrassed or something. Because it is intimidating when you go into these Slack channels and various different Facebook groups, and you see the questions that people are asking and how people are responding, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much for me to learn. So I think for me personally, I was just really okay with sometimes asking the dumb questions,
Yeah.
and not letting that like impede my progress. And then from a consultant perspective, I would say we or I personally like I like developing training materials and curriculum. So I spend a lot of time making things for clients, but they're universal. So they can be reused for the future if somebody takes on a different role or somebody new gets hired or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, I mean, it definitely takes a different type of mentality to do what you're talking about and build that type of creative
Hmm.
work. But also, you mentioned something that is like really important. So many people focus on such hard skill things. Like you got to know how to, design an email. But what you said was something related to you have to be okay with asking questions and not knowing. And I think that's more psychologically, like emotionally, um, a more of an emotional skill, right? You kind of have to get over your emotions in a sense of feeling like you're not smart enough because the mind really does try to play tricks on you. So, what are some strategies you used to sort of get over that fear of looking like you didn't know what you were talking about?
Well, I did spend a lot of time just reading like all of people's questions, and I would try to research them on my own. If I didn't know the answer, I would be like, okay, what if I had this issue? And then not be afraid to offer up suggestions, even though maybe you're not exactly correct, and tell people that. Be like, I'm not exactly sure, but I think you might want to check out like a composite key or something like that, where you can solve your issues there. So yeah, really just making sure that you're okay with asking the questions, you're okay with engaging with people, and you're not just like sitting on the sidelines. So
Yep. It really, that's what it boils down to. Great stuff. So from your experience, what's a common misconception that people have about Marketing Cloud?
So the first one that comes to mind is that it's easy, and you're just going to dive in on day one and you're going to know how to do things. And that's really not the case. So I would say that's the first one. Another misconception is just like, I don't think people understand how powerful it is, and everything that you can really do with it, because there isn't a different platform that does everything that Marketing Cloud does. So, I think sometimes they might misunderstand the fact that, hey, you might be using like 6 tools right now to accomplish your digital marketing needs. And if you replace it with Marketing Cloud, then you just have to have Marketing Cloud. So,
Yeah. Good, really good stuff. Really good stuff. It's definitely not a jump right in on the first day and figure it out type of tool. Okay. So this is more of like a two types of questions is what advice would you give to companies looking to leverage Marketing Cloud? But I'm going to ask a follow-up on what advice you would give to people who are looking to use Marketing Cloud. So first part, what advice would you give to companies who want to leverage Marketing Cloud more effectively?
I would make sure that they understand that they need a team of people, and that some of the people might not be as strong in, say, Journey Builder, but they really will be awesome in Automation Studio. And also understanding that it's okay to have people be in specific roles and not know everything. Because I think that it can be very, very overwhelming if you go into it and you're like, okay, I have to learn every single thing. So really the team mindset of, if we're going to, invest so much money and time into this tool, we need to make sure that we have the people to run it too.
That's so important. So I tell people that all the time. So I'm glad you said it. What advice would you give to people, individuals who want to leverage Marketing Cloud, use it better?
I'd say the training trailheads, your courses that you have, like just being able to, and honestly, if you can volunteer for a nonprofit or start out where you can actually get some experience instead of just reading everything, that is just like invaluable, really, because I know that with the CRM, there's sandboxes and things like that. And like with Marketing Cloud, there's not, because how would they do it anyways? Because it's based on customer engagement. So yeah, I would suggest like, hey, if you want to start learning, Trailhead's free, go ahead, do that. Buy some courses, and then really reach out to companies and see if you can get your feet wet there.
Very good. Good stuff. So where do you see Marketing Cloud heading in the next 5 years? Or just even like the digital marketing landscape, or just the jobs in the next 5 years? It could be anything.
So I think the transparency of the data collection is going to become more and more in your face for customers. Because I just saw, I believe there's something happening with ChatGPT and how they were basically mining the data, and I think they might be getting in trouble or something. So making sure that you're being very transparent and you're securely explaining to your customers, we're collecting this and here's why. So I think that's going to be very, very important to make sure that there's enough trust, really.
So true. So true. We're getting into the heart of the data age, and that's going to be so important for companies to let people know, because people are getting smarter about data now. Everything asks for your data, even like social media apps. So
yep, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So what advice do you have for people who are brand spanking new, whether they're just getting started, this is their first time hearing about it, or this is their first day in Marketing Cloud at their job? What advice do you have for them?
Well, I mean, just to reiterate, like, don't be afraid to ask the questions. Try to make yourself, if you're a team of one, because that happens sometimes, try to build your digital team. So reach out to the various groups. Like I know we were talking the other day about how like I feel like I'm friends with these people, and they're all like cartoon character pictures and like not even like their names. I don't even know them, but like they've helped me so much. So being able to leverage the community. And then once you start learning things, give back and make sure that you're not just asking questions all the time, like making sure that you're going in there and you're helping others too. Um, and then like first day on the job, well, make sure you know how to log in because that's sometimes a problem. So I remember that
Yep.
was like one of the biggest things. I was like, I don't even know how to log in here. And really just like have an open mind about like how it's probably going to be difficult and you're going to have some challenges, and just know that other people all started on day one too. Like everybody had to start somewhere.
Yep. So humbling. I mean, such good advice. And you really bring up a part that kind of it ties into any software, honestly, any topic that you're learning is like you said, immerse yourself. Don't just ask questions, give back, learn. If you're really learning about that topic, you're going to be reading books, you're going to be watching YouTube videos, you're going to be taking courses, and you're going to basically become a member of that audience. You're not going to be an outsider, and every member has to communicate back and forth and give back to the community.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Don't isolate yourself, because I know sometimes it's like so intimidating. And if you're not sure of yourself, sometimes it's easier to just kind of like close up and like and not ask those questions. But just be very open, and understand that everybody's been in the same position.
yep, exactly. All right. Well, those are all the questions I've got for you. We're going to just go ahead and pause and see if anyone has any comments. Now is the time to post any questions for Emerald or myself. And if you do have questions, you can get them answered right now since we are live. If you ask questions later in the chat, I'll be making sure to go back through the comments section. But leave your questions or anything else you want to see. With that being said, Emerald, I'm going to ask you some lightning round questions.
Nope.
So,
Okay.
some quick rapid fire. All right. Favorite book?
Oh gosh. So, oh man, I always feel like people judge you when you say these things. So I'll give you some of my favorite books that I liked teaching. How about that?
Okay.
So To Kill a Mockingbird, really loved teaching that. Romeo and Juliet, like I really, really got into because it's just so fun and interactive. I know it's like most people don't sit down and read Shakespeare for fun, but Lord of the Flies, which I know is a little controversial, but yeah. Of Mice and Men, like those.
Good books. Good books. Is there a digital marketer that you're following or studying right now?
Specifically, well, I mean, like all the people in the groups that I'm in, some of their names are a little hard for me to pronounce, so I don't really know. And then I read Salesforce Ben all the time, so I follow that blog quite a bit. Yeah.
All right. That's good. That's good. Favorite software or online tool that you're using right now?
Scribe, love Scribe for training documents and all kinds of stuff like that. I use Canva all the time for creating manuals and documents and training things. Canva now has a way where you can make like little websites, and they're really nice and they're very interactive. So I have this idea. I hope they have a feature soon where you kind of have it like more interactive, where maybe like it's a like kind of like a digital game within the training where you can have points and things like that based on like your questions that you're answering. Chat GPT, I'm not really a coder, but I can generally get some help from Chat GPT when I need it for the sequel or something like that.
I love it. All great tools. The only one I haven't used that you mentioned there is Scribe. So I'm going to check that out. You sent that link to me, so I'm excited for that. Something you wish you knew when you were 20.
Well, I've been thinking about this actually. Like, life just goes so fast. Like, it's like I feel like I was just 20 like the other day, and that's absolutely not true. So, like, things happen so quickly, and you're going to have so many experiences, but then when you look back on it, it's just like that was just yesterday. But what do they say? Like, the years go by. What is it? The saying, like, the moments are slow, but the years are fast, or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I would say that. Also, I would probably maybe not went into teaching. I don't know. It gave me a lot of experience, but yeah.
Really good stuff. Last one. Favorite quote?
Well, that's a hard one. Favorite quote.
You can even paraphrase it, summarize it, and whatever one comes to your head.
Okay, so this is about small towns. I'm from a very small town, and there's a quote in To Kill a Mockingbird where it says the town grew inward, basically meaning like nobody got out, there weren't new ideas, like everybody just kind of like shut themselves in, and like it was really bad for like growth. So that's one that comes to mind.
Well, good. I appreciate your time, Emerald. Thank you. I know that last favorite quote one is probably kind of hard to come up with on the spot, but
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
It's okay.
That is it for today's session. Thank you for being here, Emerald. Hopefully the audience, you all got some value from it. That's all we've got. Kaylin Moss, Emerald Hendry, out.
Yeah.